Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we're going to be having a look at a Buzzwole Pheromosa deck. Now, I know what you might be thinking, hang on a second, Wassy. You showed us a Buzzwole Pheromosa deck not that long ago. We know it's good. We know it's winning in Japan. Why are you showing us another deck? And the reason is extremely simple. You see, the other day I showed you a deck featuring Venusaur, where Venusaur is used to double up your energy and work it that way. This does not use Venusaur. And what is extremely weird here, it uses 47 trainer cards. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 47 trainer cards. That is absolutely ridiculous. So it does focus here around Buzzwole and Pheromosa, and there are no other Pokemon in the deck. We are playing 4 Buzzwole Pheromosa, no anything else whatsoever. They are the only Pokemon we are playing, which in and of themselves sounds a little bit weird, but essentially the rest of the deck is made purely to support Buzzwole and Pheromosa, and there's a lot of things about this that actually work really nicely. So starting off then, what does it do? Well, it's got Jet Punch. It does 30 to the active and 30 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon for a single grass energy, which is cool. Now, we don't have many ways to increase the damage here. We're playing a couple of choice bands to do 30 more to the active, and of course, it's an Ultra Beast, so there is one copy of Beast Energy here, which does 30 extra damage to the active. So if you end up against something that is weak to grass, you're going to be doing 120, or with a choice band, 180. That's pretty good. The main attack here for free energy does 190 damage, but you cannot use it the following turn. If you want to do 190, you can use it the following turn, but it only does 60. So most of the time, it might as well just stop you using it. But then again, that's 220 of a choice band, 250 time you add a beast energy. This does add up quite nicely. Where are we getting the free energy from? More on it in a moment, but Beast Ring. Beast Ring gets you the extra energy, ladies and gentlemen. It's an Ultra Beast. This is good. And while we're here, we might as well mention, Beast Ring lets you accelerate energy just so long as your opponent has 3 or 4 prizes remaining. You are playing entirely Tag Team GXs here, which means first time your opponent gets a KO, they go down to 3 prizes remaining. Second time they get a KO, they win the game. That's it. That's all they get. They need to get 2 KOs and they win the game. But the good news for you is that as soon as they take that first KO, they've got 3 prize cards remaining. And there's no way around it. It is impossible for your opponent not to give you a turn of Beast Ring here. That makes a huge, huge difference here. And it means that you are going to have that one turn, and obviously we're playing a full Beast Ring. You are going to have that one turn where you go, right, let's do this. More on that in a moment, because we've got some options. And then we've got the GX attack here. I'm going to be honest, you're rarely ever with this going to be able to get the extra. We've got 1 grass energy, 50 damage. If you take a KO, you get an extra prize. If you've got 8 energy on and you take a KO, you take 3 additional prizes. That's crazy good. But with just Beast Ring, I mean, look, you might be able to hit 3 Beast Ring in 1 turn and actually get this rolling. You could probably do it incidentally only hitting 3 in 1 turn. The problem is, if you put it on here, you're going to really be struggling with the rest of the game. So I don't know if I like that very much. I mean, look, if it's going to take you 4 or 5 prizes and win the game, I'm down with it. Generally speaking, you just take an extra prize. Wait till something has got 50 HP remaining, bearing in mind that's 80 with a choice band, and then 110 with a beast energy. And I should mention, if you're against something like a Lycanroc, which is weak here, beast energy combined with choice band will literally get you a one-hit KO for a single energy, taking 3 prizes. So, yeah, it can be good. So that's the entire Pokemon line. You're just playing this. And in terms of energy, we got 8 grass, 1 beast. Makes perfect sense. But then we get to the trainer cards, and that is where this deck really makes its hay. Now, we've already mentioned Beast Ring. Beast Ring is extremely important here because we have no energy acceleration, but as I've explained, as soon as your opponent takes a KO, you've got a turn. So this is another one of these decks where you're playing 4 Green Search. Green Search, if you have no Pokemon with abilities on the field, lets you go ahead and search 2 trainer cards from your deck and put them into your hand. This is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. You're only playing Buzzwole and Pheromosa. It has no ability, which means this lets you search out 2 Beast Ring. And we're playing 4 Pokegear 3.0 here. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck, put a supporter card you find into your hand. So here, we are really, really rocking and rolling with this, ladies and gentlemen. Because with 4 Green Search and 4 Pokegear, although there's no guarantee you're going to get this, there is a very, very good chance you're going to get this. And that means, essentially every time you play a Beast Ring, that turns a Buzzwole Pheromosa into a single energy Pokemon that's doing 190 damage. That's pretty sweet. And we are heavy on supporters here. Now, we do have 1 copy of Lieutenant Surge's strategy. Lieutenant Surge's strategy lets you play 3 supporters this turn, including Lieutenant Surge. So you could potentially here play a Surge, play 2 Green Search, and actually get 4 Beast Ring in 1 turn, which would actually make the GX attack genuinely viable. So you could put 3 on 1, 1 on another, and be absolutely rolling. Not saying you're going to want to do, or even be able to do that every game, but it is a possibility, bearing in mind Pokegear will help you very, very much here. Then we've got 2 copies of Ace Roller. You've got 260 HP. You shouldn't be one-hit KO'd. Ace Roller lets you heal, and you're loving it. You've got Professor Kukui, which lets you do an extra 20 damage, because the reality is you're not always doing enough. If you're against a Zoroark here, this will get you a one-hit KO. But let's say you're against something like a Gardevoir. Choice Band puts you up to 220, and then Professor Kukui will get you the KO. Professor Kukui could be the difference between getting a KO and not. 3 copies of Guzma to drag a Pokemon into the active, but also act as a switch. 2 copies of Cynthia because it's really good draw power. 1 copy of Judge gives each player a new hand of 4, which is pretty nice disruption. And then we've got some slightly weirder ones. We've got Lizia here. Lizia lets you search for 2 Prism Star cards. Well, I've already mentioned Beast Energy, and this might be a good time to mention Life Forest Prism Star. Heals 60 damage in all special conditions from a grass Pokemon. So you use Lizia to grab both of these, you play the forest down at the perfect time, heal 60 damage, survive for an extra turn. But we've actually got a 3rd Prism Star card here, and it is the little played Lusamine Prism Star. Lusamine Prism Star is an absolutely great card, and it's a great card with this. Now, it only really does anything if your opponent has got 3 prizes remaining, but remember, you're a tag team GX. So the second your opponent takes a KO, they will have 3 prizes remaining. Now, obviously, this is the same time you want to play Beast Ring, so there is a little bit of a chance here that, oh, do I play green for Beast Ring or do I play Lusamine? That, ladies and gentlemen, is up to you. But Lusamine here gives you immunity from attacks for a turn. And the reality is there's a choice to be made. Do you get the immunity with Lusamine or do you search with green? Either way, this is looking pretty nice. And you could always Lieutenant Surge for Elysia to grab yourself a Lusamine and then play it immediately, which could be fun. And then we have Ultra Forest Cartonvoy. Now, this is a new one that just came out in Full Metal Wool, and it says that damage done by your Ultra Beast is not affected by any effects on the defending Pokemon. So a Dawnwing's Necrozma that's used their GX attack, yeah, you're fine. Going against the Lucario and Melmetal deck where they've used their GX attack to reduce damage done by 30, yeah, you won't worry about that. Something like a Shuckle, which should be immune to you if you've got fewer than 3 energy, nah, you're good. This is a very situational card that won't always be good, but when it is, oh my lordy, it's very, very good. Now, in terms of stadiums, we do have a couple others. We've got an Ether Paradise Conservation Area that reduces damage done to your basic grass Pokemon, like this, by 30, and yeah, your opponent can Field Blower away, but it might save you on a turn. And we've got Unmanned Power Plant, which says that EXs and GXs in play have no abilities. So there's your Zoroark, your Lycanroc, etc. And again, you have no abilities, so this is fine. And then in terms of items, we've already mentioned Choice Band. We've got one copy of Adventure Bag, which will help us search out our tools. Basically gets you both your Choice Band at once. I'm not a huge fan of this because you could just play an extra Choice Band. One copy of Max Potion, 260 HP Pokemon, gives up free prizes. Max Potion is redonk. One copy of Energy Recycler, gets your energy back, you're only playing 5, that's pretty good. 4 copies of Acrobike. Acrobike lets you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one in your hand and discard the other. It's for speed. And there are turns you need to get your Lusamine. You need to get your B-String. The turn after your opponent takes the first KO is huge for this deck. Because what you could do here is get 3 or 4 B-String and then get immunity with Lusamine. Or what you could do is nothing special. Acrobike really helps. 4 copies of Nest Ball. It's the only Pokemon search we've got. It gets basic grass Pokemon and basic grass energy, so it's an energy search as well. 1 copy of Field Blower to get rid of tools and stadiums, 1 copy of Enhanced Hammer to get rid of special energy, and 2 copies of Pokemon Catcher. Now, we're already playing free Guzma, but remember, you have a GX attack, which takes an extra prize when you get a KO. If your opponent has a GX, or if you really cross your fingers and hope, a Tag Team GX on the bench that's got 50 HP or less remaining, or 80 if you've got a Choice Band, etc., you can get it in the active and take 3 prizes off a GX, 4 off a Tag Team GX for a single energy. You need to be able to get them in the active that turn. That's why we're playing Pokemon Catcher. I love this deck. It is not how I would have chosen to make this deck. I don't know if I'd have ever gotten to this deck list myself, but it's such a fun deck list, and we haven't seen a proper quad deck for a while. A deck where you're only playing 4 Pokemon. And this is a proper job, full-on quad deck. You are playing Buzzwole Pheromosa, and that is all you're worried about. And you've got B-String and all your other tricks to make it work. I worry it won't beat Blacephalon, but other than that, this is fast and hard-hitting. It could be really good. But I would very much like to know what you think about it. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! But please do remember the most important rule as always. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, patreon.com/PTCGRadio is where you need to go. And of course, do be checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where I talk other games. But I do need to insist that you look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.